It is 6:45 in the morning. It is the 1st of January. Happy New Year. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a brand new year. So this is the perfect time to discuss my 2022 goals, what I want to read and all that jazz. It's going to be very chilled, very relaxed, get comfortable, have a drink, do whatever you want. I should probably put my phone on silent. So last year I hit my goal of 25, I think in about October, and I actually finished the book last night, 35 books out of the 25. So I originally picked that goal because the previous year in 2020 I had picked 25 and then I got furloughed for about nearly 2 months and read about 10 books, which is just not an achievable thing for me in regular life. So when we entered the new year, I was like, okay, I'm going to pick the same goal again in the hopes that I would never get like furloughed again. So I wanted to see how many books I could actually read in like a normal year, because yeah, 10 books in 2 months just isn't something that I can ever do. It's just not really possible unless I read the shortest books ever. So this year I'm gonna go with 30. I feel like for someone like me who isn't, you know, like the people you see on Bookstagram or here on YouTube where they are bringing out wrap-ups of like 20-30 plus books, I feel like 20 is a really achievable, 20-30 is just a really achievable goal for me, and I think probably going forward I will probably keep it at 30 because I don't want to fall into the trap of putting pressure on myself that I need to read more. I don't want it to be getting to like November and thinking I'm nowhere near 30. I don't want to have to do that. And you know, I think I've done it once. Well, I just had a really bad reading year, and it's the, do you lower your goal or do you leave it as it is? Because there's something really horrible about failing it, because it does just feel like you have failed. So what do I want to read? This is last year's plan until it all changed basically, and I wanted to read more books by black authors, and obviously going forward that is something I still want to continue, but I just wanted to highlight more. I just didn't want the Black Lives Matter movement to just end in 2020. I wanted it to be something that kept going. I wanted my Instagram feed and then my Bookstagram to still be flooded with books. I wanted it to be a thing. I don't know how well this TBR will reflect this, because this year's TBR, this year's theme, because apparently I like a theme. My original 2020 TBR is the Backlist Project. No new books. This is gonna be really difficult because yes, I am fully aware that I don't actually ever read current books. I don't ever read books that have just been released, but it's nice to have the option. So we are talking, I'm undecided on how long. Last year I think I thought books that had been on my list more than 5 years, so anything from 2015. Oh my god, that's quite a long way back actually. So it would be anything prior than 2016. I don't know if that's a good number. 5, I'm thinking maybe it should be 3. I don't know. However, I do already have quite an extensive list already in my head, so thinking about how long they've been on my shelf might not need to be something I need to worry about, because I already kind of have a back catalogue in my mind of what I want to read. The whole has been on my list longer than, I think at least needs to be 3 years. I think 2 still makes it too current. 3 maybe is a middle ground. 3 or 4 years maybe, let's go with that. But I actually don't think I'm probably gonna read anything that is quite recent. The only way not around this will probably be standalones, because at the time the majority of my bookcases are series or duologies. I'm finding more duologies, but it is more series than it is standalones. Standalones definitely a newer thing that I'm getting into. The other thing I want to try and be better at, because last year I was terrible. I need to use my Kindle more. I really do. I was really good with it before, and I just seem to have just dipped a little bit. So I always try and read at least one series on my Kindle to feel like I am actually using it. It's fine though, because I didn't buy it and export it for me, so I don't feel like I'm wasting my money, so it's fine. But I do feel like I should use it more. I don't know what it is. I think with a lot of series that are older that I'm really not sure about reading anymore, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll Kindle read that, but then I'm just not sure if I want to read them, so I just never use the Kindle. Obviously I still want to get going with more classics. I found 2 which are included on my Audible account by Charles Dickens, which are Great Expectations and A Christmas Carol. So I probably will try and do those because they have been on my list for a while. Sam at work keeps telling me to read A Christmas Carol because she reads it like every year for Christmas. And then I saw the BBC adaptation of Great Expectations with Gillian Anderson so long ago, and I was like, you know what, maybe I do want to read this. So possibly this year I'm going to try and do those 2. I only read like 1 classic a year, I think, because I'm trying to reread my original ones and try and get back into it and get back into and getting used to the style of writing and the language. I don't want to like overwhelm and bombard myself. Also, I am extremely intimidated for classics. There is also that. So the books that I want to read that are on said backlist. So some of these are ridiculously popular and I still haven't read them, and this is the year. I'm finally going to do A Court of Thorns and Roses. I like Throne of Glass was like, I'll just wait until they're all out, and that seems to be taking its sweet time, and I just so my aim is to at least read the first 3 and then probably do the short stories. I am undecided about continuing further than that point because of the cover change, and I know it's a really stupid thing, but to look at it on my shelf it's going to make me really angry. So I may continue with the next books as audiobooks. Also, they're bigger and I think it will help me get through them, so that might be my way around it to continue it, but it's just time. I just started reading them because they've been there a while looking at me, judging me. I can still see them at the corner of my eye. Sorry guys. I also want to read Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I've had that first book for I don't even know how long anymore. I've now bought the other 2. She has her new series. I now have the first book of that, and it's like, just read the original trilogy, just do it. There is also The Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I really want to do that, although I do know the last book is a little bit but I've had it, I've wanted to read it. I think what's put me off, but I think in compared to a lot of my books, that is definitely more on the high fantasy spectrum, or at least that's the vibe I've gotten. It might not be, but it's just very different, I think, compared to my other books, whereas it's something I would watch. So I think it's been just mentally trying to gear myself up to do that, whereas I think I'm not in that place, but I'm ready. Also throwing into the mix is The Hunger Games. I have been putting off this series for, well, since the films came out really. I've just never had an interest in it. I remember we used to have posters up in my high school of like recommended books, and I remember that was one of them, and The Curious Incident of the Dog at Night, or whatever it's called, that was another one. And I just knew, it wasn't really my genre, and I was still kind of like feeling my way out for books when I was in high school, and I also knew it would make me cry, and I was not interested in books that make me cry. Like, I'm not interested in films that make me cry. I'm talking to you, Edward Scissorhands. And then it's my best friend's favorite book, it's my best friend's favorite film, and she is someone who doesn't read books, and this is a series that she read. So I bought them and I was like, I will read them. Never did. I have since rebought them in new covers to try and push me into reading it. Still hasn't happened. So we're gonna do it this year. This is the year I freaking read The Hunger Games. I have to do it. I just have to at this point. I can't look at them anymore. So Kindle wise, I'm going to continue the Alice in Wonderland series, which is like the weird mad spin on it by Cameron Jace, I think. And yeah, it's very topsy-turvy, it's very murders aplenty, it's very dark, it's very fun, it's very weird. I actually really enjoyed the series. I'm not really sure why I've sort of stopped reading them, but I have for some reason. And there's a lot of books in this series, like 8 or 9 I think, but they're relatively short and they do move quite fast paced. I found one of the books quite not repetitive, but it just felt like there were a lot of needless chapters. They kept doing like small things just like a little side thing to kind of keep you like interested, but I was just like, come on. But no, I love them. They are a lot more dark, they're a lot more wacky, they're bonkers. And what I think I like about this series and what really attracted me, especially once I read the first book, is that the summary of these is, you know, is that really like, this is dark, this is crazy, this is weird. He has gone with that and he hasn't held back. It really is like Alice in Wonderland on acid. It is really fun, it is really weird. She is, from what I remember, she was in like a mental hospital, and she's now met the characters from Alice in Wonderland, and they're like, you're the Alice, and she's like, oh no, I'm not. And there's a whole bunch of stuff, and they're trying to stop someone from doing a bomb or something. I should really reread these. They're really good. It's probably the only Alice in Wonderland retelling that I've really enjoyed, other than the Looking Glass Wars. And yeah, he runs with that. It's weird, it's dark, it's crazy. He doesn't hold back, and I think that's something I really love, because it is kind of over the top and it is just ridiculous, but I really like it. It is a very much she does not know who she can trust, because really she doesn't really know herself at all. So she is kind of working with these people to like on missions and stuff, but she doesn't really know if she can trust them. I also would really like to read Bloodlines by Rochelle Mead, who did Vampire Academy. I read the Vampire Academy, good lord, like 6 years ago, probably more than that, and I did actually really enjoy it. I had an issue with Rose and I kept thinking it was a mental block that I didn't like the series, but I did like the series. It was just a Rose issue, and I really love those books. And then when I saw she had this other series connected to it, I was like, oh, I definitely want to read these. And I have just kind of forgotten about them. They have fallen to the wayside, and every so often they pop up on my Instagram. I'm like, oh my god, yeah, they exist, I would like to read those. So I wouldn't mind reading those as well. They would probably definitely be another Kindle read. I think the Vampire Academy was a Kindle read as well. I think it was when I got to a point when I was like, I can't keep buying series that are like stupidly long. So I definitely want to read those. They've been on my list forever, and I've seen a lot of love for the second series, and a lot of people say it's better than the first. So I also need to kind of get back into Shadowhunters. Not something I really want to do, but we're gonna try because I want to read the newer books, and the newer books look amazing. So I've read the original 3, so City of Bones, City of Glass, City of something. I've read those 3. I'm taking a break from those 3, and I'm now doing the prequel to those. I'm going to do those first and then come back to that trilogy, because I've heard varying different ways you can read them, and my friend and her sister have both recommended that as a good way to do it, because I did not like those first 3 books. They made me quite angry. The third one was better than the first 2, but I still had a lot of problems, a lot of issues with those books, and they said that those 3 are a great way to kind of take a break from it. They're a lot better, and then to come back to the final 3. So this is something I kind of like about this 6-book thing, is that you can read them as a bump and a bump. You can read them in 2 separate, and they have said that the next 3 do get better, but it's probably best for me to take a break. Most of my TBR is still kind of up in the air. It's not like me, I do normally plan this shit, but I'm quite overwhelmed by how many books have been on my TBR, and I keep thinking I should add this, I should add this, I should add this, and I'm like, okay, I'm setting myself a challenge which is just impossible. I think I need to rein it in a little bit. I think I really need to look at my books, but those are some of the main ones that have been sat on my shelves. That sounds like I said shat on myself. Sat on my shelves. They're books that I look at and I think, God, I really need to read you. They've been books in the back of my mind that when I thought about doing this back in 2020, those were some of the books that popped up first, and I'm like, I need to read those. I've got a series on my Kindle, which is some creepy one based in a doll's house in a wood, which I wanted to read at Halloween and sort of winter months. It's things like that. I'm aware that I have all these books that I've bought and haven't read yet, and I would really like to kind of get through some of them. It would be quite nice. So that is my plan for the year, to try and take it easy. Having said that, I am realizing that all the books that I'm adding to this TBR for the year are, yeah, I need to calm down. I need to not look at all the books I have and think, shit, we're gonna do our best. This is the only way forward. We can only do our best. So that is it for today's video. Nice and relaxed, nice and chilled. Simple. I hope you had a good New Year's. I was still awake at midnight, even though I had to get up at 5:30, so that was rubbish. I just could not sleep, so yay me. So I hope you had a better night. As usual, comment below what do you think of my picks. As usual, you can comment below, let me know what are your goals for the year, what do you want to read this year, are you setting a target, are you not, are you trying to take it more relaxed, what is your general plan, and obviously what do you think of my TBR, what do you think of my backlist only project, do you think you could do it, do you think you could commit to just books that you've had for years? If you enjoyed this video and you want to hit that like button, do that, and if you want to subscribe, do that too. As always, my social media links are in the bottom, and you can follow me on Instagram and just see what else I'm getting up to. I'm trying to get better with the Instagram stories. Trying. It's a work in progress. I hope you have a great day, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, I've just remembered what my next one's going to be. It's the one where I shame myself. It's the video I hate doing the most. Look forward to that.